Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delay. There's been several things happening here. First of all, we've been having some crazy electrical pops, and my internet has been, and the power has been going on and off for the last 15 minutes. In addition, I could not connect through my regular browser, so I had to sign on to Facebook under Chrome. So that this is working great. So now I know Safari does not work so well. And I am trying to print out some notes, and they're not printing out because for some reason it wants to print on both sides of the page, and I can't keep it from doing that. So I guess I'm going to just try to put my notes on my screen so that I can see them but still see you, and make sure that my head is not chopped off. So let me make sure there are, trying to see if there are any comments. If anyone's here, could you please write a comment in the box because I'm not seeing anything. Ah, Leah, thank you. We'll just wait a few minutes, and hi. This is my office. This is where I sit all the time. It's a little glary in the background, so I think I'm going to go and close those shades. Okay, that's a little better. Hi, Allie. Nice to see you, or see your name and your comment. All right, I'm going to see if I can print my notes one more time. All right, now you can hear my printer. Voila, notes. You'd think I wouldn't need notes to talk about my career, but I just don't want to forget anything. Hi, Margaret. Oh my gosh, my registered dietitian, Kappa Delta. I just saw two of them at Produce for Better Health Foundation, where I just got back from last night. I have this whole group of sorority sisters, not all at the same school, not all the same age, that I've discovered over the years who are also registered dietitians. So I have this little group I call the KDRDs. And there were two of us at PBH. And now Margaret Wright Carr is on the line. Okay, well, it's about 6 after the hour, so I think I will go ahead and get started if I can find my notes. What I wanted to do first, I want to leave time for questions, but as my name is Neva Cochran, I am a nutrition communications consultant in Dallas, Texas, and I work with, as a consultant to food, nutrition, and ag organizations to promote accurate science-based information about food and nutrition so that people can enjoy eating and not fear food. That is my whole goal, is for people to really enjoy the taste, the flavor, the nutritional value, the health benefits, and the social aspects that come from eating, and not to be afraid by all of the scary headlines that are out there. Thus my business, my business brand, which actually evolved from a presentation I developed in 2012 and have been giving many times over the years, and it's called Eating Beyond the Headlines. So that's when you go to my website, which is Neva Cochran rd.com, you will see that banner, Eating Beyond the Headlines, and that's on all my social media as well. And just before I start, I'll let you know that you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Neva RDLD, and also my business Facebook page can be accessed by simply putting into the search on Facebook at Neva RDLD. It's actually Neva Cochran MS RDNLD. All right, so let's go back a little bit in time, which is quite a few years. And I started out I did my undergraduate Bachelor of Science degree at the University of Oklahoma, majoring in nutrition and dietetics. It was a traditional DPD program that I needed to do an internship after I completed. Back then we could only apply to 2 internships. So that was a difficult choice, to take all the internships in the entire country, because I was willing to go anywhere, and narrow it down to 2. I think at some point they decided that was restraint of trade, and so now you can apply to as many as you want as long as you can afford the fees. But I was accepted at What was then called Presbyterian Hospital of Dallas is now part of a huge network called Texas Health. So it's Texas Health Resources Presbyterian Hospital Dallas. That was a 1-year, 52-week internship that was a general internship with rotations in clinical, food service management, and community. But it was at the time fairly revolutionary in that we did several internship rotations outside the hospital. Like we did a 2-week rotation at a greenhouse, which was a spa in Arlington for very wealthy women, came for 2 weeks to lose weight and eat amazingly tasty meals long before the culinary nutrition movement began. Um, Also, then, after I finished my internship, I took my first job as the first and only clinical dietitian at a hospital in Denton, Texas, which is about 35 miles north up I-35 from Dallas. And it's actually kind of a university town because there are 2 universities there, the University of North Texas and the Texas Women's University. So I set out there, fresh out of internship, creating a clinical nutrition program. The hospital had only been open about 1.5 years, and it was a small private hospital, and I was really kind of given free reign to do whatever I wanted, which was really nice, but a little bit daunting right out of internship. I stayed there for 1 year and 3 months, but decided that was not going to be my forever job. And I had started taking interns from Texas Women's University, met their faculty, and they all decided that I should come back to graduate school. So I was fortunate to receive an assistantship so that I could go back full time to graduate school. So I did a research and teaching assistantships during that time, and I completed my master's there. In addition, I had one of the physicians at the hospital who was a nephrologist and was new right before I came to the hospital. He was opening a renal dialysis facility. So I also, during graduate school, was the consultant dietitian for the renal dialysis center and saw some patients in his office for just general internal medicine, nutrition counseling. So I had a variety of income streams while I was in graduate school, so I was able to make it through going full time. After that, I went back to the hospital where I did my internship, Texas Health Presbyterian Dallas, and I worked there for a year. So in contrast to my first job where I was a generalist doing everything, I was very much more specifically defined in my role at this job. For the first 6 months, I was the dietitian for the coronary care unit and the step-down cardiac floor, as well as the OB-GYN floor. The second 6 months, I worked on 2 surgery floors and actually did a pilot nutrition support, nutrition assessment study, which was kind of exciting to be a part of it, the infancy of nutrition support. But I left there after a year, realizing that probably hospital dietetics was not really my my really career niche. And I was asked to go back to Texas Women's University, where I had done my master's, and to be on the faculty there. And I taught for 3.5 years there in the coordinated undergraduate program. And I taught the medical nutrition therapy courses for the senior students and also supervised them at their clinical facilities that they were doing to practice their skills. And I also taught a community nutrition class for the CUP students, as well as elementary nutrition for the nursing students. There was a huge nursing school at Texas Women's University, so they had a lot of very large elementary nutrition classes, which I taught in addition to my nutrition students. So after I left Texas Women's University, deciding that even though I always thought that that was going to be my dream job, was being teaching in college, I decided that was not it. And then I went to the job where I really discovered my passion, and that was the local Dairy Council affiliate, which at the time was called Associated Milk Producers Incorporated Consumer Services Division. It was wholly owned by this dairy co-op, and we were the Consumer Services Division, which was an affiliated unit with the National Dairy Council. So in that position, I worked with school teachers. We provided units that they could use in 2nd and 5th grade to teach nutrition in the classroom, but they could only get them if they had training from one of the dietitians on staff. So I did a lot of training workshops for teachers. I also worked with school nutrition to help in merchandising and marketing to encourage greater participation in school nutrition programs. And I also did a lot of community presentations, and I worked with the media. And that was kind of a dovetail with my volunteer experience, because I had already been president of the Dallas district at this point, and I was also then on the Texas Academy Board, but I was selected as one of the first state media reps when that program was launched by the Academy. And so at the same time, I started my job with dairy. So I got a lot of professional training and experience in working with the media, both from the Academy and from my job at dairy. So that kind of launched me into that realm. And in 1990, um, I was then selected as the National Academy spokesperson for the Dallas Fort Worth market when it came open. I also left my job at dairy after 3.5 years. It seemed like I had kind of a penchant for working at some place for 3.5 years. But that is when I left that position and went out on my own. Now in 1989-90, I was president of the Texas Academy, and I pretty much devoted my entire year to working on that. But as soon as that was over, I really started in on doing a variety of consulting jobs that then kind of evolved with my media work into what I'm doing today. So, um, what I did, I started first working in a cardiac rehab outpatient facility, which I did for 13 years. And I taught one morning a week at this outpatient facility, and it was in a suburban Dallas hospital. And I did this, it was an 8-week cycle of classes that I repeated over and over and over for 13 years. Now, obviously, I updated the information during that time, but that was a great way to stay connected to individuals and patients, and it really helped inform my work that I did for other clients. Then, as a result of my work as a national spokesperson and doing interviews with freelancers for Woman's World magazine, I got to know the editors there, because they would call me from time to time for clarification or to get additional quotes. And they literally talked me into working for them. I said, I am not a writer, but they would not let me say no. And finally, I agreed to work with them. And unbelievably, that turned into a 20-year ongoing freelance job. Woman's World magazine is a weekly. It's sold on the newsstand at checkout at your grocery store or your drugstore or your Walmarts and Targets. And it had at the time an estimated readership of 6 to 7 million. I had for 8 years a column called Diet Club that dealt with weight loss. And also, I did for many years the meal plans that went with the diet feature stories. And there was a diet story in every single issue, 52 weeks of the year. And usually it was the cover, because that's what sold the magazine. During the latter part of my tenure there, I did research. I would summarize articles from journals about losing weight, whether it be behavior, nutrition, or exercise, that they could use in their feature stories. So I did a variety of things with them. Actually, I read the article during the latter part of my tenure there. I read the article every week to make sure, that the information was accurate, because I wasn't actually writing the articles. Someone else was writing them, but they were using a lot of information that I gathered in the meal plans that I created. In addition to Woman's World, during that 20-year span, I also worked 5 years each for two other magazines on an ongoing basis: Maximum Fitness, which was a men's muscle magazine, and The Female Patient, which was a magazine that was sent to physicians that worked with female patients like OB-GYNs, internists, and family practitioners. And I had two features in The Female Patient every issue. And I had several different things that I did with Maximum Fitness, including a 6-page meal plan spread in each issue. So I had a lot of experience that probably a lot of people don't know in working for magazines, basically a total of 30 years spread over these 3 magazines. Currently, I have a free article that I write monthly for a local free magazine called Southern Dallas County Business and Living Magazines, and my interns help me in doing that. So in addition to the magazine work, after I completed my tenure, my 7 years as a National Academy spokesperson, I um, I gradually had opportunities that came about to work with different companies, organizations, um, and in a consulting capacity related to nutrition. And I have a list, they're all on my website. So just very quickly, I'm going to read off, like for 20 years, I was a health professional advisor with the Egg Nutrition Center. I also have worked with Fresh Express Salads, the American Beverage Association, the Corn Refiners Association, Sargento Cheese, um, Cow Health and Nutrition, McDonald's, Mazola Corn Oil, Soleil Soy, Cherry Marketing Institute, California Raisin Marketing Board, Kind Snacks, Texas Beef Council, Cow Health and Nutrition, the Coca-Cola Company, Subway Fresh Fit Meals, Clementines from Spain, Lean Cuisine's Lean On Me program, the National Dairy Board's Milk Mustache campaign, and the Dallas-Fort Worth Chinese Restaurant Association. Currently, my clients include the Leafy Green Marketing Agreement, the Calorie Control Council, Bigelow Tea, Human Nutrition and Health, and Bayer U.S. Crop Science, where I'm a member of the LEAD network, Leaders Engaged in Advancing Dialogue about Modern Agriculture. Now, most of my clients, I'm not kind of a traditional influencer in that I don't really promote specific products or specific brands. A lot of the organizations and groups I work with are trade associations, which represent like all of the different products under a particular umbrella. Or I work with agricultural commodity groups. So again, it's not a branded product. Like Egg Nutrition Center was representing all eggs, no matter how they were produced or where they were produced, or what brand they were. Let me see if there's any questions here. Also with like just very quickly with Calorie Control Council, I write blogs. Early on I did social media, but the last 3 years I've just been writing blogs. The past year I wrote blogs that were geared toward registered dietitian audience, so they were more on issues related to concerns about artificial sweeteners, like do they cause weight gain, do they cause altered sweet taste perception, do they cause hyperglycemia and diabetes, do they influence the microbiome. So I did blogs on those, which you can find on my website again at nevacochranrd.com. If you look under blogs for others, you can find all of my blogs there. For Human Nutrition and Health, I write blogs on nutrition and eyesight and vision, because I'm working for a very small division within this company that has lutein and zeaxanthin that are supplements that are sold to companies that incorporate those into their supplements that are sold for eye health, particularly for people that are at risk for macular degeneration. Also for looking at what else I do, Leafy Green Marketing Agreement, I'm working with them to help get out the word to dietitians about this certification program for lettuce and spinach and leafy greens to help keep them safe and prevent outbreaks of bacterial contamination that we have seen twice in the last year. So they're really working hard to tighten this up, and they want me to help them get the word out. So you'll be hearing more about that in the not too distant future. Bigelow Tea, I wrote a white paper for them about the health benefits of tea that they are providing to dietitians in hospitals that work in clinical as well as long-term care dietitians. So I've also done a presentation at the Florida Academy last year. What I do for many of my clients, I do speaking. So I'm on the program for State Academy conferences to do a variety of different kinds of presentations, from eating beyond the headlines, the health benefits of tea. I speak on ethics and social media. I speak on agriculture, at the intersection of agriculture and nutrition. I can speak on low-calorie sweeteners and a variety of topics like that. So those are other things that I do for my clients in addition to blogging, or like with Bayer Crop Science, I do a lot of events to help dietitians and other health professionals understand more about modern agriculture and how it plays a role in promoting and American farmers in promoting a safe, abundant, and adequate supply of food for people in this country and around the world. So I'm very passionate about farming and agriculture because I come from a farm family. My mother was fourth generation of a Central Texas farming ranching family, and my second cousin is still there in Central Texas farming and ranching, has been for his entire career. His wife just happens to be a PhD registered dietitian who has been a longtime faculty member at Baylor University in Waco. So he's on the board of the Texas Farm Bureau and often is on my panel for my farmland film screenings that I do for Bayer Crop Science. Okay. I have done a lot of volunteer experience over the years, which I have alluded to. President of the Texas and the Dallas Academies. I've been chairman of the foundation board. I was in the House of Delegates for 10 years, 3 of those as a member of the House Executive Committee, which oversaw the House of Delegates. Briefly, I just wanted to let you know, Leah wanted me to talk about all of these things and I'm running out of time, but I did start a little late. So if you want to hang with me, I'll continue. I am working on the Philanthropy Council of the National Academy Foundation. We are trying to raise $5 million by FNC 2020 to promote and fund projects that will position the registered dietitian, nutritionist, and our profession as leaders in food and nutrition, not only here in this country, but throughout the world in our second 100 years of existence. And to do this, we are trying to raise $5 million to fund fellowships, research, and other types of projects and programs and campaigns that will meet that end. We are over $4 million at this point. So we have a little over a year to close the gap to reach the 5 million by 2020. And I've been working diligently on that for the past year and a half. Actually, I'm just going to give you an update. I reached out to several people that I know who are Academy members. And so far, I raised $66,000 from those people in pledges and donations. In addition, I have done a recent outreach to past Academy spokespeople, of which I am one. And to date, that has netted over $24,000, almost $24,500. So total in the last year and a half, I have personally raised over $80,000 for the Second Century Initiative. So I hope that if you haven't given, that you will go to the website or just contact me, through any of my social media or through my website, and I will tell you how to do that, because we need everyone to help us in supporting this really important initiative of our profession and the foundation. Finally, Leah asked me to talk a little bit about what I do with students or dietetic interns. Over the past 16 years, since 2003, I have been a preceptor to over 100 dietetic interns for a 1-week nutrition communications rotation. When they work with me, they do a variety of different things. They write an article with me for the magazine that I spoke with earlier, Southern Dallas County Business and Living Magazine, which I do a free article for each month. They also do a video, which is on my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel for myself, and I have a YouTube channel called Nutrition News from Neva's Interns, or by Nutrition News with Neva's Interns, something like that. But you can find it on my YouTube channel. And they do a 2-minute video about a timely topic. And they also do mock interviews, 2 mock interviews on whatever nutrition topics they choose. And they, through the week, learn about how to do messaging and how to use different media techniques in order to get your messages in when you are doing an interview. They do some reading, they do anything that I am doing. They sit in on conference calls. If I'm doing a webinar or an interview or any of the things that I'm doing, a presentation, they will come with me or sit in with me on those. So it just depends on the week and what I'm doing. I primarily preceptor interns from Texas Women's University and from Texas Health Presbyterian Resources, the program that I was an intern. I also have other interns from various programs that contact me, and if I can fit it into the schedule, I do. Next week, I have a virtual intern from the University of Connecticut. This is my second one. My friend Ellen Shanley, that I served on the board of directors of the Academy with, had this great idea a few years ago to have me do work with their interns virtually, which is really easy because a lot of the things that they do is on the computer. So we can kind of FaceTime or Skype to set them up, and then we can text or email or have phone calls during the week, and then do their mock interviews also by FaceTime or Skype. So that's just very quickly an overview of how I got to where I am today. And it looks like we have 2 minutes left for questions. So if you have any questions, please type them in. And I'm not seeing any right now. I will just mention, sometimes people ask me how I get my clients. And it's interesting because I have never actually gone out and solicited a client. All of the clients that I've had have come to me. And I think this speaks to my, um, the things that I have known for. People come to me not because I'm a foodie or recipe developer or that I have like 1,000 Instagram or 1,000,000 Instagram followers, but they come to me because they know that everything I do is based in science, based in the evidence. And I have really literally had clients come to me and say, you are posting our messages. Do you want to work for us? So it's kind of like I was doing this for free and now someone wants to pay me for it. Well, I guess I'll do that. That's what happened with Calorie Control Council. Literally, they represent the low and no calorie sweetener industry. And I am a big, proponent of low and no calorie sweeteners and the role that they can play in helping people have, additional choices for sweet foods without calories and without sugar. And, I'm totally on board with the safety of these through, their approval by the Food and Drug Administration. So I've always been an advocate for them. So they came to me and literally said, you're posting our messages, will you work for us? So, the same way with Bayer Crop Science, I had been an advocate of modern agriculture for many, many, many years. And they came to me and asked me if I'd like to be part of this network. And I jumped at the opportunity to have a larger audience to talk about the things that I truly believe in. So I think it's very important that you be authentic, that you stick to your ethics, because that is the core of what separates us from the pseudo nutritionist and when I say uneducated, the people that have no credentials and no education in science-based nutrition. So we have to set the bar, and sometimes it's not popular when we take a stand for science that is in opposition to what the popular opinion in the media, social media, and on the internet is. But, as Wendy Reinhardt Capside said at the Produce for Better Health Foundation meeting where I was this week, she said, Neva is fearless. And so I do try to defend science because, we really want to help people to enjoy eating and not fear food. Hi, Leah McGrath, who just joined. Um, Oh, one of the other things that Leah asked is where do I go if I have questions? I'm a big PubMed user, so I always look for the evidence in the peer-reviewed literature. But what I also recommend to people is that look to trusted sources. I like the International Food Information Council because they look at a variety of hot issues. So a lot of times, those are the issues that I'm dealing with. So I go to see what they might have to say about it because they usually have an extensive reference list of peer-reviewed articles with their posts on their website. And though it may be counterintuitive to some people, I like to go to the commodity groups. So, if I see an article that says something about soy, either positive or negative, you can go to the soybean board because they will have that study and they will have, their experts having looked at it and giving usually some kind of a review of that study. So you can kind of get their perspective on it. So it could be raisins, it could be beef, it could be dairy, it could be blueberries. I mean, there's always studies about different foods out there. So going to those different commodity groups, which most all of them have registered dietitians, if not full-time, part-time, and they always have medical advisors as well. So I think that they're a great source to go to as well. Thank you, Leah Fleur. That was a lovely compliment. I really, really appreciate it. And also Holly Kirby for your nice comment about my advocacy. One of the things that I do in addition to promoting science-based nutrition information is I am truly an advocate for registered dietitians in our profession. And I try to do that in all of the work I do. And as a spokesperson, that was always like my hip pocket message was, you need to see a registered dietitian if you really need help with your nutrition, whether it be because of disease, losing weight, or just wanting to eat more healthy. So I've always been a cheerleader for our profession and registered dietitians, and will continue to do that. So if there aren't any more questions, I'll probably sign off now, but I would like to tell you that if you need to get in contact with me, you can, again, go to my website, nevacochranrd.com, my social media at NevaRDLD, that's Instagram, Twitter, and my Facebook business page. I'm also on LinkedIn at Neva Cochran, MS RD and LD, I think, but there are very few Nevas. So if you put Neva Cochran in, I will come up. And you can email me at nevacochranrd@aol.com. So there's no more questions. I'm going to sign off, but thank you all for tuning in, whether it's live or watching the recording. Bye-bye. Have a great day.